Welcome to this video guide on completing the energy footprint tool for your church. This is crucial to us being able to deliver on our commitment to net zero carbon for 2030, and completing the EFT provides the vital baseline data we need to understand the carbon footprint of church activities across our diocese. And it helps us to strategically allocate resources as we support churches to reduce our impact on the environment. For individual churches, the EFT instantly generates a carbon footprint, so you can understand the impact of your buildings on the environment and track progress year on year. And it helps towards achieving your Eco Church Awards too. But you do need to log the information before July the 31st for it to count in this year's statistics. So if you haven't already started, please do so as soon as possible. And we're going to go step by step on screen through an example of how to fill out the EFT. And this involves 10 questions for each church building. But first, we suggest you have a look at this Energy Footprint Tool Word document. And this lists all the information you need to gather from your church team. Most of this can be found in your utility bills for gas, electricity or oil for the last calendar year. And you should also have access to this PDF document called Instructions for Filling Out Your EFT. And this explains the most important thing you need is a figure for the amount of energy used for each church building that you pay a bill for, either in kilowatt hours or pounds and pence. And it also lists other information that you may enter, but again, this is optional, such as the estimated size of your building, estimated average visitors, and estimated travel miles. And please don't worry if you don't have all this information available. We'd much prefer you to submit a partial return than none at all. So let's get on with it. The first thing is to log on to the system using your parish returns login on the website. If you don't have a username or password or have forgotten them, please email me or email centralservices@liverpool.anglican.org and we'll set you up with one. Once you're in the system, click on this button marked Enter Your Data. It's worth noting if you enter some data and need to take a break for any reason, the system will save the information you have entered so far for when you log in again next time. And the first question is, for how many buildings would you like to enter data? And for most churches, this is just one building. If you have two buildings with different meter readings for each, for example, a church hall that is metered separately, then you'll need to enter data for the two buildings. And for this example, we'll just enter data for the main church building. So just write 1 here and main here. Next, you're asked what sources of energy does this building use? And this is a multiple choice, so please click all that you use. For most churches, this will be electricity and mains gas. And then click Next Page. And this takes you to the main multiple choice section, which you need to complete. And as we've selected electricity and mains gas, we now need to select which is the primary fuel used for heating this building. So for this example, we're saying mains gas. Then you need to select the name of your energy supplier and for each type of energy used. So we're filling out for electricity first, and the system is programmed in with a list of accepted green energy suppliers. And we'd recommend you switch to one of these if you haven't already, as it helps to reduce your carbon footprint. And then select whether you're on a green tariff. And this should be marked on your bill. And if you're not sure, then click Unsure and move on. And next, you need to answer the questions about how much electricity is used. You can either enter this in kilowatt hours, kWh, or cost in pounds and pence. And you need to enter an annual sum here, so add up the figure for all the 12 bills for the last calendar year from January to December. Please don't worry if you don't have the kilowatt hours figure. You can leave that blank and simply enter the cost for the 12 months, though the kilowatt hours figure is more accurate. Then answer the same questions for each energy type. So for gas, we're using Green Energy UK in our example, and we'll tick that it's a green supplier. So that's everything for our electricity and gas supplies. If you've selected that you have on-site solar panels, then your bill should tell you the capacity and units generated. And if you don't know the answer to either, you can leave these blank and move on. And once we've completed the information for each energy type, we're ready to move on to the next question. So click Next. The next section is about any work-related travel expenses, claims made by your church team in the previous year. And the answer can be estimated and given in either number of miles or pounds and pence. And please note this section is optional, so please click unsure and leave the rest blank if you don't know the answer. And please don't spend too much time on these optional questions. And the next section here about your building size and use is again optional, but is useful to help put your energy usage in context. For most churches, these fields will already be populated with existing information from the parish return system. So if that's the case, just leave that information in there. And if it's not already there, you can use estimated figures. And just as a guide, the average church size is around 400 square metres. A large church is around 650 to 1,200 square metres, and a small church is around 100 to 250 square metres. And there's a useful tool on Google Earth which you can use to estimate the size of your buildings. On your computer, open Google Earth and search for your church. On the left, click this ruler icon for measure. Click the map to set the measurement points and click done. And the next question about church attendance can also be estimated. So take into account every person that would enter the building, including services, groups, weddings and other visitors. And the same approach for the final question about the number of hours your church is open in an average week. And that's it. You've now entered all the information for your energy footprint tool. You now just need to click Submit to complete the task. And if you have 2 or more buildings, you'll have been asked for the information as you work through each section. Below the Submit button, you'll see a results page telling you more information about the carbon footprint of your buildings. And there are lots of tips and resources here, such as the practical path to net zero carbon for churches, including a checklist you can download and use as well. Thank you again for completing this energy footprint tool. It's really vital for us on our net zero journey. If you have any problems at all, please do get in touch. Thank you.